Okay, this is going to be a basic hip and knee mobility routine that you can do using minimal equipment. And just to preface this all with, when you're doing any kind of stretching, you want to make sure you can stay into the position for a decent amount of time. So decent meaning 30 seconds is minimum for all stretches. But for this circuit I'm going to give you, you could do one round, but if you do one round, make sure they're longer, minute, 2 minutes long, so you can actually settle into the stretch. If you're going to do multiple rounds, you're going to do 2 rounds of 45 seconds a pop, or 3 rounds of 30 seconds a pop. 3 rounds of 30 seconds probably gives the best results, but spending more time in the position is also going to help your body relax and realize it's okay to be stretched like that. But for all the stretches, if you're feeling a stretch, great. If you're feeling a pinch or a pain, then cut it. You can let me know, or try it again after you do a round of the other ones and see if it feels better. You want to make sure you're staying at a 5 or 6 out of 10 to start, and ramp it up as you feel comfortable to do so. So you don't just go to 7, 8, 9 and then quit after 10 seconds. That's dumb. You're not going to get the benefits. But that's all I need to tell you for now. So let's begin. First on the agenda is going to be a toe on wall couch stretch. So the way you do that is you get nice and close to the wall. You're going to bring one leg up and put the toe on the wall. So your foot is going to be flexed on the wall, and you're going to need something to help prop you up. So you can use some stable surface, or a fancy mobility stick, or a cheap PVC, or a Swiffer. It doesn't matter. But you're going to brace your abs a little bit, squeeze your butt a little bit, and come up until you feel a good stretch in the front of your leg. You could even feel it in the hip flexor. But this one's going to be a little more quad focused, so you can kind of rock back and close the gap between your heel and your butt. If you're feeling it in the back, you want to make sure you're squeezing, bracing your abs, rib cage down, and squeezing your butt a little bit. But settle in there. Next up is going to be a standing hamstring stretch. So you're going to need a little elevated surface for this. Have your staff in the hand of the leg that's up, and you're going to reach towards it. Don't worry about your back bending. This is going to give you a good gauge of how far you are, and if through round you're improving. You can squeeze your quad to make sure your leg stays straight. A lot of people want to bend it. We're going to do a bent leg hamstring stretch a little later. This one you want it to be perfectly straight, so you might have to squeeze your quad periodically and really help it settle down. Okay, next up, you can get on one knee, and we're going to do a straight up hip flexor stretch, which is kind of going to be a little bit like that, but you're getting on one knee and just driving this hip forward, not swaying side to side, trying to keep everything perfectly straight, including your back leg. So I'm going to show you 3 angles, driving that hip forward. This is the focus. Squeeze the butt a little bit, brace the abs a little bit, settle into a good stretch. Common mistake people do is they have your foot too close, and that way you're not going to be able to get the stretch. You're probably going to feel an ankle stretch on the front leg. You want to make sure that front foot is far enough forward so you're feeling the stretch. And what I was saying before is your back leg is going to want to be lined up. Shouldn't be in, should be lined up. Okay, moving on to half kneeling hamstring stretch. So for this one, you're going to have your knee a little bit bent, and you're going to lean over into it, and it's going to feel it in the hamstring. You're going to feel it in the hamstring, but it's going to be in a little different spot. So you're going to lean into it like that. This one, it does not have to be straight, like I said, but you're going to settle into that one. Next up, moving away from front back, we're going to go with a hip capsule stretch. So the way that looks is you're going to get in a quadruped position, bring one leg over the other. You're going to slide it back. You're going to feel it in the butt. I'll give you a side profile view. Boom. Reach back. Go back as far as your butt lets you. And settle in. Next up will be the butterfly stretch. So you can do it just sitting up. You can lean against the wall, so you can just focus on relaxing and pushing your legs down. If your feet don't want to be too close to you, because you do want your heels snug to your torso, as close as you can, pushing down. If you're not feeling it in the groin, or your feet are pretty far out, then you got to start on your back. And you can stretch the groin out like that, using your hands to assist. If you want to add something to it, you can push up and relax. Push against your hands and relax. Very good. Next up, I'll show the regressed version first here. You'll be on your butt. You can rotate like this. You're going to bow down into that front leg. You want to make sure that this leg is perpendicular to your torso. So boom, boom. It's not in, not too far out. You'll be getting some hamstring there probably. And you're going to bow down into it, feeling a good stretch in the butt, but a little bit differently than you did with the hip capsule stretch. If that's not really hard, then you're going to go into the classic pigeon, which I usually like the elevated pigeon, but I'm trying to keep it as simple as possible here. And you're going to bow down into it, getting as deep as you can. If you're getting pretty deep and it's not that bad, what you can do to add to it is cross this arm around your body, reach with this arm, press away with this arm, twisting your body, but not leaning, just twisting, and you'll get even more. You might even get some across the lower back. Next up, we got frog stretch. So I'll show you from the butt view first. So you're going to spread your knees pretty far apart until you feel a little bit of a groin stretch. And if you look at a picture of a frog, their legs are parallel to each other. They're not like that, they're like that. They're not like that, they're like that. You're going to get on your elbows, you're going to rock your hips back, and settle on in. Side profile. A little bit of a groin stretch. This one's going to feel a little different than the butterfly too. Unless your groin is really tight, then it's going to be a second groin stretch, which you probably would need anyway. And you're going to be rocking back. A lot of people, they can't even rock back this far. But as you settle in, be able to get further and further back. And that is the frog stretch. Now for this next one, you're going to sit up nice and tall, spread your feet about wingspan. You're going to try to reach forward. But a lot of people, when they first try this, they may not be able to even get forward at all. If you can, you're going to try to inch forward, settle in. You can rotate your feet in and out. Try to crawl further in. But if you're one of those people that can't even get into that position, I'll just show you from the side profile. So a lot of people, if they get into this, I can't do anything, I can't move forward at all, which is fine. Most people that haven't done this, that's what happens. But you have two options. The simpler option is to give your knees a little bend. The goal muscle here is going to be adductor magnus. So it's going to feel like a hamstring kind of, but it's going to be more towards the inside of your leg. And if that's the case, that's where you're going to do it, if you're feeling it there. The other option is raising your butt up a little bit. So this is less practical and simple, but I'm sure you could find something to sit on. You don't want it to be more than like 6 inches, because then it's going to be hitting different muscles, but you're going to try to lean into it that way. That way you'll get some forward lean. Trying to keep those legs straight once you're doing the regress version. Either way. Last but not least, Got the leg crossover. So you're gonna lay on your back. You're gonna take one leg, reach it up and over. I'm trying to keep this shoulder on the ground as much as possible. And it might not look like that when you first start. You might be able to just do this. You might have to keep the knee bent. But eventually you want to reach over and be able to get perpendicular, there's that word again, to your body. One more view, and you'll be good to go. And if you're trying to get more of a stretch there, you might need a bed to lay on and drop your leg off the side of the bed. Another thing to add to all this, so that's the mobility routine, is you can test and retest some movements. Like, I'll go over these nice and quick. Like an assisted vertical torso squat where you have something to hold on to. Better with like a countertop type thing, but you can see if it's feeling groovy. This can also help reinforce the mobility we just did. There's that. There's the horse stance, which are pretty wide, not quite pancake wide, but squatting down with your toes forward, like so. There's going to be more groin. The long lunge, back leg straight, dipping down deep, and just the basic old toe touch. See where you start, see where you end up, but that's just a bonus. Any questions, let me know, but remember to be patient. Don't try to do more than your body wants you to do, and then quit before you actually get anything out of it. At the end of the day, getting strong through these ranges with a few of those strength movements that I just showed you, the squat, the horse stance, the long lunge. I showed you the toe touch. That could be a Jefferson curl, if you've ever heard of that. And the deadlift and the split squat. Those are the ones that you're going to need to strengthen to keep this mobility. There's more I could have added, but this is going to be the first edition. So, happy stretching. Any questions, let me know.